Every city starts with a compromise. We needed power. We needed jobs. We needed an engine to get things moving. And for a while, this worked. It was functional. It was loud. It was necessary. But look at it now. It's not just an engine anymore. It's a cage. It's choking the very city it helped build. We can't design a future if we're still holding on to the mistakes of the past. Today, we don't just move a building. We stop the noise. We clear the smog. And we finally give this city a heart. Today, I want to focus on moving the bus depot over to its permanent home. I'm thinking that we possibly, I was thinking of originally moving it out here, taking all of this out, or rethinking this highway here, because we have a highway here. Do we really need one here? Probably not. So one of the two locations that we could use for the Grand Terminal could be this entire area here. So it is close enough to the city, but far enough away. So it's close enough to be accessible, but far enough away where it's not causing a lot of noise pollution for residents. So I'm thinking we clear this entire area out here. We leave Fawn Street alone because we spent a lot of time getting that fixed over the last few streams, as well as the rest of this area here. So back to the point, I'm thinking that we clear out this area over here. We keep these two garages because we will need these. And then we clear out everything here. But we could also put it over here, which gives us more area to expand and actually plan the layout a bit more. Yes, it's not as close, but we can pull downtown out this way. So that is an idea, because once we consolidate things and move and grade and make a gradient of high density, medium density down to low density, we'll clean up the skyline. So I'm thinking that we use this area over here. And while we do that, I think the best way, so we're not disrupting life in the city as much, as we pause while we're doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And we will start deleting these roads, because as you can see, this is not planned. Like, who makes roads jagged like that? Nobody, when they're planning. Yes, residents are gonna be really upset that we're demolishing their cemetery, but we will put all of that back. If not during this live, we'll put it back at some point so the people are happy. And since there is a highway here, I think we're going to go ahead and just delete this highway. We will make a local street here. We will make reconnect all of these tram tracks once we figure out the layout that we will go with for this area. So we're essentially going to give ourselves a clean slate. The layout, the rough design for the Grand Terminal area, which is going to include a primary bus station here. We'll have smaller bus stations throughout the city. We're not going to focus on that today. The tram's going to be over here, the bus depot. So this is going to be our centralized transit area. And then we will figure out the surrounding road layout after we get this area in here designed, so this all will make sense. And what doesn't make sense, we'll go. Ideas change, designs change, and that's fine. As long as there's a rhyme and a reason of why we're doing it, we're not just making decisions just for the sake of making decisions. Right now we're just laying out the foundation and the skeleton of this area, and I'm happy I actually just went with the flow with things. And I feel that whenever you create an area and you're forcing the geometry, you end up with something that's not organic. It doesn't feel realistic. And in real life, if you go anywhere, there are imperfections everywhere in architecture. I mean, yes, the buildings and everything have to be structurally sound, but the curvature and the small imperfections are what give areas character. I do need to learn how to the decals. As I told you guys, I'm a fast learner, so I do plan on going in and using the decals and stuff to make things look a little bit more lived in. That's not the point of this part of my series of finding the thread. I do have an eye as a designer, so I do plan on doing some deep dives into detailing. If you guys want to see that, let me know. So yeah, this lane is for 4 ways, right? So I could have taken this all the way out, but the issue we would have is congestion. We can expand it later if we need to, but what I would do instead is more than likely take 1 lane and come out here, or 2, just so that we're breaking up traffic. So if somebody needs to go this way, they'll be able to do it a lot sooner instead of having to wait to go up here to just come up here. So that might be something we do when and if the need arises. As I said, I'm not trying to get it to be a perfect grid, but now that this area has structure, this looks awkward. It looks very, very awkward. And so because of that, I hate to do it, but we're going to do it. don't have to be in love with something or for something to work just because you spend a lot of time on it. As you can see at the offset, we created the bus depot over here. It was fine for the moment, and then as we got the structure over here with the tram and the actual, this is going to be what we create into our grand terminal itself, where the buses are actually going to be leaving from, and we'll have food vendors and all that good stuff filled in here in a park area. But once we got this structure built, it told us this no longer worked. And I think instinctively we try to force things to work, and it's not just in games. This is in real life too. Relationship, friendships. We try to force something to work that isn't meant to work, and that's okay, because the thing is that if we have the wisdom to accept that something's not going to work, we can open ourselves to greatness. We can open ourselves to new ideas. We can open ourselves to improving our lives, our family's lives, our friends' lives, by saying, hey, it's okay to change. Hey, it's okay to admit failure. And you're not actually admitting the failure. You're just admitting, okay, this idea wasn't great. And you're showing wisdom that allows yourself to grow, because better ideas will come when we say, you know what, that didn't work. Revision. It's like if you think back to school, college, high school, whatever, when you wrote a paper for class, you didn't give your teacher the first thing that you wrote. You revised it, drove yourself crazy, revised it some more, and then you found like, okay, this is the best that I can do. And that's the thing. It's like when you write, you're never finished with the revision process. You simply produce and publish the best version of what you created. And I think that does it for now. We still have space here for, where we have space to add a lot more of these if we needed them. I think we will add some asphalt around the walk paths just to give it depth and dimension. We're not going to do that today. I think this is a really, really good place to stop. So we have a lot more to do. And I might do that on live, or I might just go ahead and do it off camera. I'm not sure yet. I do know I need to start curating videos, but I also know that we need to have areas finished. I don't think I've seen very many streamers show the full process. And I know that the vast majority of my videos, especially when it comes to long form, will probably be watched more with the final finished product. But I also wanted to show the process because I think that that is important to show how our minds work in real time, how ideas can change in real time and become better when we allow the topography, the cityscape to speak to us. And if you recall at the offset, I said that, oh, we're probably going to need to redo this whole highway system. And even though the city looked crazy, and it does look crazy still, the highway system wasn't too far off. Like, yes, I didn't know what I was going to do in the moment, but it just goes to show that we still, even in the midst of bad design, we can make something awesome. We didn't really change that much of the road system. We did clip the road back here, but we didn't demolish any full systems. So both of these highway systems were actually needed, even though we didn't know at the time they were needed. So it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful incident. Beautiful mistake, as Bob Ross would say. So we will connect these. Now, right now, I guess we'll reconnect those next stream. But yeah, I think we did a lot in 2 hours. We have the foundation for our grand terminal. So I believe that we'll continue the process because I want you guys to see how this continues to evolve in real time. And then once we finish it, I will make a curated video that just shows the highlights and we'll go from there. Thank you for spending part of your day here in the studio. Time is the most valuable resource we have, and I appreciate you investing yours in this build. If you found a spark of inspiration in today's project, consider leaving a like. It helps the algorithm find the thread. And if you want to see how the city evolves, hit subscribe and join us for the next session. I'm Curtis, this is GameWeaver Studio, and I'll see you on the next one.